On this day, he chose to leave this world. And the word for leaving this world is listalka min alma. And as tradition has it, that the reason that he left was because Satan, who created this playing field of pain, suffering, and misery and chaos, came to the Creator and said, look, you've created me to create a playing field by which man would be tested and which he would have the opportunity to correct and mend his ways. As long as Rabbi Shimon's presence is felt in this universe, I have no purpose here. I cannot function. I cannot maintain a playing field. In other words, no man, no woman, no child would be bent on any negative activity. Because the light of Rabbi Shimon is so powerful that before someone can begin to embark on a negative course because of my influence, immediately, that activity would be altered, changed into one of positivity. So there is actually no purpose for my continuing to be the manager of this playing field. Rabbi Shimon then accepted the decision that he would have to leave so as to permit Satan to continue to manage his playing field. And so this has been the interpretation year after year. As I was preparing a discourse for our people in Israel who are presently at the Idr Rabbah, I delivered my discourse, which was entirely different and new from any that I had given in the past. Because suddenly the word listalka min alma can mean to depart, but that same word, lisalik, means to rid of. Listalek, you can interpret as Rabbi Shimon departing from this earthly existence. But in view of everything that is being revealed in our time, which essentially adds up to one idea and one idea alone, and that is to remove that physicality wherein chaos becomes manifested, embedded. And so when the Zohar states that what makes this day so special as I had never before understood, that on this day, Hod Shebahod, Rabbi Shimon chose this particular date so that he could remove all of the barriers that the physical manifestation, the physicality that we are familiar with, places upon us. That by connecting as we are this evening, and with a consciousness to understand that Rabbi Shimon already had laid the groundwork for us. He had indeed shown and proven the way in which we remove not physicality, but the obstacles of physicality. And with this idea, just to understand it somewhat and a bit deeper, this physicality, the instrument that prevents me from walking through that wall, is negative. But Rabbi Shimon could walk through that wall. Why? Because he had converted, as nanotechnology demands today, to convert physicality, that it no longer represent something of a negative nature. The negative aspect of physicality being uprooted, no longer having its influence, then it should heal in a moment, because the healing powers are already embedded within every human being. That cancerous tumor, that physicality, only represents a physical entity gone haywire or gone negative. But with Rabbi Shimon's support today, we can convert, and it was meant to be converted, nanotechnology, force of physicality, which has plagued mankind since the sin of Adam, has now finally met its day. It met its day tonight when Rabbi Shimon influenced, established the precedence of removing all negativity from every physical entity that exists on this universe. And this was the idea of the splitting of the Red Sea, taking out the negative aspects of the Red Sea. And consequently, it could not drench the clothing of the Israelites as they walked through. Now that's a new concept, because we are so familiar with what water can do in its rage. It can flood, create disaster. But that is not what it was meant to be at the time of creation. It was only after the sin that things became mixed up. But now we want to undo and remove that mixture of good and evil. We want to refer back to the time of the tree of life, that flawless universe, because the physical elements originally, at the time of creation, never were meant to be a hindrance or limitation upon our movement. But it is strange what Rabbi Shimon goes on to say in this opening paragraph, when Rabbi Shimon in the Idre Rabbah revealed the secrets of the Zohar, the secrets of Kabbalah, the secrets of the universe. Before embarking on this revelation, he asked that each companion embrace the one next to him. Each become one unit, for this seemed to be a requirement. And unfortunately, the one obstacle that still remains, the sole requirement, as Hillel had stated, Rabbi Akiva had stated, do not do unto others that which is odious unto you. It's the only requirement, my friends. For us to achieve that kind of consciousness doesn't require more than the idea that we remove hate from our lexicon, from our consciousness. And is it because we are to be righteous? And the answer is no. Is it for morality? And the answer is no. Is it because it's ethical? And the answer is no. It is simply the only impediment to acquire the unity of consciousness that is required to overturn the limitations of time, space, and motion. Is it a short order? The answer is no. Is it difficult? Well, it must be, because for millennia, mankind just doesn't seem to be able to come up with either a desire or a conviction to stop hating. But with the support of Rabbi Shimon tonight, and many of the other tools that we are being furnished with, we have access into that power. It is ours to be taken, to be understood, and to be enjoyed, only because since the sin, Rabbi Shimon restored the positivity of all physicality in this universe. It is only through perpetuation by hatred that the work of Rabbi Shimon does not become revealed. But as we begin to raise our consciousness, as we begin to understand that it is for our own personal benefit, that it simply does not pay to harbor, or that any negativity, any hatred linger on within our minds, within our hearts. The time is here and now. The job had been done. All that is required now is for each and every single one of us to think about someone whom we think ill of and say, that condition, that situation, that circumstance is not going to prevent me from removing the chaos that already had disappeared on this day of Lag BaOmer with Rabbi Shimon.